This is Tammy Scott. Thank you guys for joining me today on episode 2, where we will be discussing today about some issues that we are having, the administrators are definitely having during the pandemic. Before we get into that, please comment, share, and like. You will also be able to follow BLAHC on all platforms. And let's start. The first thing I would like to discuss is COVID testing. COVID testing was a big issue for nursing home administrators. What I mean by big issue is during the pandemic, the beginning of it in 2020, COVID testing became an issue. In Shelby County, when it comes to COVID testing, we have an issue with the labs. Of course, the labs. First, the government was over the labs. They basically reached out to all nursing homes in the Shelby County to ask them to basically make a site so they'll be able to test individuals at the site around like 2 hours. Give you a lot of time, 2 hours, which was very difficult. As a nursing home administrator, you know it's very difficult for administrators to be able to test all staff and all residents. Not only that, when you have residents that were leaving, or you have staff that's agency who only probably working like once or twice a week, it's very difficult. Plus if they have second jobs, plus if you have staff that's on third shift, it's very hard to do that. So when we was doing it with the government, of course they wanted us to get third shift to come in when they're not working to come and COVID test, which was very difficult. So a lot of people didn't understand all the scrutiny that came under working as administrator in a nursing home. We got a lot of backlash, unnecessary backlash, because people don't understand how nursing homes operate. So if the government comes and they want to test every 2 hours, they don't even have all the staff that they need. So they have to pull our staff to assist. Mostly our nursing staff. Remind you, we need the nursing staff on the floor. But they want this a lot of time. So they want them to stay in their cars, probably drive around or walk out so they could be able to get tests. Back in those times in 2020, they had to go all the way up past your way nostrils to test you. So a lot of staff was already had stigma about it. They was like, oh wait, hold up for a second. It's going to go all the way up there. So I got a lot of complaints because just the pain that they was going to go into for testing. Like a lot of people say, oh, there's nothing wrong with a little pain. We need to know. Yeah, I understand that. But if you're talking about individuals who don't like pain, their pain tolerance is on a different level, can you guys come up with something else? So that right there became a very big issue. Of course, like I said, the labs. The labs have to get back to the testing center within 2 hours. That's an issue. That is a huge issue. Huge issue. Huge issue. Huge. The issue with that is, if we are in Shelby County and the government telling us that we have to ship our labs back to Nashville, that's 3 hours and 30 minutes. So how are those labs going to get there within 2 hours? That didn't make any sense. So the administrative and nursing staff have to do all this work to get labs to go all the way back to Nashville, which is 3 hours and 30 minutes to get tested. Wait a second. The Nashville is basically testing all nursing homes in all counties. So now our labs are stuck in one spot until someone actually tests them. So majority of the labs that we got back were inclusive. No results. They said we have to do them again. And around this time, they were saying that you could get fined. get written up, all this other stuff. So when the state come in, they want to look at your lab results. They're looking at them. They said, it's inclusive. I said, because they sending our labs to Nashville. And by the time they get them, it's going to be too late, and they are sitting out. They supposed to stay on ice. The ice is probably already melted or anything, even if they give you that container. And so the state was basically saying, okay, you guys need to find a laboratory, a third party to be able to test your residents and staff. So now we just can't do it as administrators. Some administrators in other facilities just can get a laboratory company, but sometimes the corporate office say, "Oh, wait a second, we have our own lab company that we are already doing. Plus, if some of the labs are being taken for, for the residents, so some of them probably want to make contracts. They have to do contracts over and everything to get all this taken care of. In the meantime, we still, as administrators, have to do the best that we could do, making sure that all the residents and the staff get tested. So there was a time where Tennessee went in the red. That means we had to test twice a week. Most times Monday, Wednesday, or Tuesday and Thursday, to be able to get your results back in a timely manner, which was very difficult. Because if you have residents that's working Tuesday, Thursday, like I said, agency, you might not get all those residents and staff on that Thursday. So it became very, very difficult. Plus, if you have like 3 shifts, the 11 to 7, the 11P to 7A is very difficult because you don't want to stay late doing labs. So basically, you'll probably tell your nursing staff, make sure you test everyone, test the CNAs, test everybody on 3rd shift. There'll be times where we come in, half of the testing won't be done, and because it's very, very difficult to be able to do all that and do everything the nurses have to do for 3rd shift. So it became very hectic, very, very, very hectic, and a lot of people out there don't understand. Plus, when you have sign-in, them also get tested. They have to come in and get tested with the thermometer. They have to ask the questions. How many times have nursing home administrators out there had issue with CNAs and nurses on 3rd shift signing in paperwork? When you come in, why is it your paperwork starting off with the 1st shift? You should be already doing 11P to 7A. But the issue is, it was always difficult for them to come in a different time. You tell 11P, 7A, please, you guys, sign in. Then not only that, they find tricks on coming different ways through the building. You tell them, no, you can't go through the back door. No, you can't go through that building. You have to go to the front door. So I became very, very strict during this time as administrator because I wanted my staff to get tested. Because a lot of them was going out different doors. They was going out front door, side door. A lot of people had different codes. It was just too hectic. So I became very, very strict around this time. So of course, a lot of people had issues with it. But as a nursing home administrator, our job is to make sure everyone is safe. We want to make sure everyone is safe. Okay? So that's our main goal. And make sure everyone is safe. So during this time, we had difficulties with the labs. Not only that, so now we have the 3rd pickup for the our 3rd vendor, 3rd-party vendor, to pick up our labs. Now it become a difficult issue because when we had the 3rd-party vendor, we had to basically, I had basically had issues with the way they send out the results. I always told them, can you please send out the results through my email, or if you guys have an online website, give me a password so I can be able to, go into it and read the results myself. There was time where the laboratory correspondent would call the front desk and say, "Can I speak to the nurse home administrator? She really needs to take this phone call." I'll be in stand up, I'll be in a different meeting, I'll be on the floor trying to help out with lunch services, anything. We need to speak to her right now. She has someone that's positive in the building and she needs to know it. Why would you say that? Why would you dare even say that? Number one, that's HIPAA violation. Number two, you put fear in people's face, in their minds. Allow the nursing home administrator to be able to communicate that with her own staff or his own staff. Do not just say that on the phone, because then you're going to spread rumors. And that right there became a huge issue when it came to, plus the black community. That became an issue. So not only did we have that issue, is like a lot of nurse homes, the scanner is in a mutual place. All the department heads, everyone goes to the scanner in this printer in this one room. This was why I make sure I have a scanner printer in my office. But most of the time you have this one room that everybody have this scanner effects and all this other stuff. So after I already had explanation, we talked with the correspondent from the third party to send it to my email. They'll fax it over. Yeah, the results. So you have all these department heads, people who are copying, printing things off, who need things, going to this fax machine and things are getting faxed over saying someone's positive. That's HIPAA violation. Why would you send that to a fax? Plus, if I already told you I don't want it faxed, email it. Don't fax it. I continue to tell them over the phone. But, you know, some of them don't want to listen. Then they say, "Oh, she being a mean administrator." No, I'm not being a mean administrator. It's how many fires administrators have to blow out when you do this. We have all these staff and residents here that get to talking, and only thing they need is a piece of paper on who positive, and they started to spread rumors. We don't have time for that. We don't need okay, this person have this person have that. And plus, this is the beginning of the time of the pandemic, so everyone is afraid and scared. So you have to allow the administrator and DON to basically take care of that. You can't just send stuff over to a fax and because you want to. Then they always leave like 3 or 4 voicemail messages, like we just sent it at our desk, and just can go through our voicemail messages. You have to understand that as administrator, we have families that's leaving voicemail messages. We have all these other people leaving voicemail messages. It just becomes very hectic. We don't listen to our voicemail messages probably later in the day or probably around noon or something. You have to give us enough time to listen to voicemail messages. We have to sit there while we're doing computer work to listen to voicemail messages. Probably have to replay voicemail messages because someone who's leaving a voicemail message is talking very, very fast and hurry up and trying to give you their phone numbers, and they never repeat it twice. So it becomes very, very difficult. People out here don't understand what administrators have to go through. So during this time of testing, it was very, very difficult for us. Very difficult for us. A lot of people do not understand. So eventually the testing got better, but come with the testing issue is documentation. Documentation became such a huge issue because now when the government is sending you all these paperwork, each staff and residents, you have to print each paper off for every resident, every staff. There's almost 200 papers for one time. So imagine you testing twice a week. There's like 400 papers in a 3-inch ring binder. It's too thick. It's too thick. There's no way you taking up all that paper to print all this stuff out. That stuff was frustrating. Plus, to a administrator like me who's tech savvy, I'm like, no, I already put this stuff on Excel, and whoever positive, positive, whoever negative, negative. Like, I already know who my residents, I already know who my staff is. If I just need to worry about who positive. Who positive, go in there, put positive. Everybody else who negative, boom, hit Excel, copy, it goes straight to it. I'm done. No problems. So I always keep the Excel in my binder, so I can give it to the state when they come in and they can see it. If they need me to print it off, I can definitely print it off. So that's what I end up doing. But that is very, very difficult, plus with documentation. Then NHSN came around with us having to upload those results onto NHSN. Difficult. NHSN has so many bumps, so many issues with it. It was crazy. As a person like me who's tech savvy, get to the point. I'm so like, get to the point. We don't need to go here, doing all these 5 things. No. Then you talking about triple reporting, quadruple reporting. We got to report to the city, report to the county, report to the state, report to NHSN, then report to corporate office, the same information. Who wants to continue to do that as administrator? We got thousands and thousands of things to do, and we got to do all the reporting. When NHSN said you could report here, and all the entities will be able to pull the reports here. Then here comes the city saying, oh, we don't have access to it. County, we don't have access to it. Then corporate, at first they don't have access. Yes, you do. You can put a username on there and your RDOs or RVPs will be able to look at it. And it becomes, at first it was difficult. Now they probably do it. The RDOs and RVPs or individuals probably be able to, you know, go on there and to be able to look at your results. But at first it wasn't. So people have to understand, the beginning of this pandemic, this is very, very difficult for administrators. A lot of people like, oh, you'll be okay, you'll be fine. No, who wants to repeat the same stuff 5 different times, send it 5 different ways, and you got other stuff that you need to take care of, paperwork that you need to take care of, state want to come ask you for this, you got to do this, you got to do this paperwork. You not understand this is day-to-day operation, this is business. We got things that we need to do on the floor. We don't have time to sit back behind a computer all day with the same stuff that you guys want us to put on different type of forms, do it this way and do it different way. That became too much. And another issue, like I said, with testing, if you have like agency staff only comes like once or twice a week. So trying to get them to come in to test is like, it was like pulling teeth. Plus, if they already working 2 jobs or 3 jobs, you can't tell them to stop working their other job that's providing them money to pay for things that they need and for their families. But this is the pandemic. It's serious. It's very, very serious. So that right there became an issue of us having staff that work at other jobs, because other facilities probably have an outbreak and you don't have an outbreak. But then you tell the staff, well, you're going to have to work at that facility because you guys have an outbreak at a certain period of time, or you can't work at that facility because due to the outbreak, because you want to be careful and safety for your building. But then it's too much because you need the staff. So there were agencies, that's how agency was able to come in and dominate. Completely dominate. So, like I said, it was very, very difficult during this time. Plus with testing. When it came to testing with the rapid testing, I loved it. So whoever came up with that, invented it, I love it. Thank you. A lot of people didn't like it. I did, because I was able to test on those weekends that was difficult for me to test and send the labs in. It was, plus of me giving results back within 5-15 minutes. Cool, I could do that. I definitely could do that. That staff that probably saying, oh, my throat is itching, and you already test on the Thursday and they come in Friday because they shift just started, and you like, no, I need you to come in, let's test. So they rapid test, I love that rapid testing. I love the rapid testing. That was great. The only issues I had with the rapid testing was they had the 2 different machines. They came out, they said, no, don't use this machine, no, use that machine. And you were not able to print off the results from the machine. They said that you could, but you couldn't. There's no way for you to do that because they sent the machine, then sent the core how you upload it to the computer or NHSN. But it was fine. I was able to create a form on Excel to be to use for the results and make sure my nursing staff, signed after they test someone. So I really love that. Plus, when it comes to the families getting tested. A lot of families could not go to Walgreens or any other company to get tested. So it was very difficult for that. And a lot of families probably come out of town. They want to see their loved ones that's outside of the, because we was closed for visitation. So if they want to come in or anything of some sort, they say if you have a resident that passed away or normal causes. Of course, we want to make sure they are able to come in fully gowned and they can come in and see their loved ones. So we want to make sure with the rapid testing, they take the rapid testing. And a lot of them love it. So it became very better. It came better. Plus us not being able to test all the way up to the nostrils. We just do the nasal. So that right there became even better. So when that happened, we was able to get a lot of staff to get tested, which everyone's still doing that to this day. So I really like that. COVID halls. COVID halls became an issue because some companies have barriers. They put barriers on these COVID halls. And what it became an issue is, what if before the pandemic you was already at 80%, 90% capacity? Now you have the COVID hall. The state said you have a COVID hall. So you have 1 or 2 residents that have COVID. You have to basically move all those residents off the COVID hall into a regular room for them to have. But what if you don't have that hall? Now you have this barrier, plastic barrier, which became difficult to maneuver in and out. Plus, if you have a nurse who have a nursing card. But even with the zipper, everything became very difficult. Plus with that cover hall. Like I said, with that cover hall is, they say you have a mutual nursing station for A and B hall. You have this nursing station here for C and D hall. A hall is the cover hall. So now you have 2 nurses over here, 2 nurses over here. That nurse that's on A hall, the cover hall, have to stay on that hall. They cannot leave that hall. But they need to go to the nursing station to basically document and do everything. They don't supposed to leave off that hall. But we know they leave off that hall. And the CNAs who's working on that cover hall don't supposed to leave that hall. They're supposed to stay on that hall with their PPE. A lot of them are not staying on their hall. We end up finding out they're not staying on their hall. Guess what? They're cross-contamination. Because, there'll be some staff, CNAs, that say, we need some help over here. We need some help over here. And they need help. So it's like, how can you get on a CNA for go helping another CNA who really need help? But at the same time, she can't cross-contaminate. She'll have to stay on their hall. But they don't stay on their hall. So that became a difficult issue for nursing home administrators, for CNAs staying on their hall. Because if they have PPE on, they have to put it in a red bin. It has to be removed out of the back door from housekeeping or our maintenance director is supposed to remove it. But it got to go out the back door. But they'll come with the PPE on through the front door, and you always educate them, no, 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 no. When you leave the room, take the PPE off, put it in the red bin. And they'll do that, and they still come out the front door, not understand there's still cross-contamination. You can't leave out of the front door. So that became a huge issue for nursing home administrators. Plus with the nurses, they'll go and they'll give their medications on A-Hall, and they now on A-Hall, which is the COVID hall. After they finish passing their medications, they got to come and they got to document. Where there's an incident, where there this and that, they have to sit down and document. They have to do all this documentation on PCC. What if they have an admission? They got to go through all these assessments. And we looking why these assessments not done, why these assessments not done. They was a Miss Tammy, we have PPE, we got to go down to COVID hall, pass out medication, we had to help out, passing out trays. We have to do all this. Documentation for nurses is very difficult. It is. Plus during the pandemic. So that became a huge issue. Plus if you have hospitals who want to admit residents that have COVID, and when you're trying to stay COVID free, but they always tell you the hospitals are your bread and butter when it comes to admissions, but you don't want to say no, we can't take that person. You want to basically say how many days are they in with COVID, give us enough time to get a bed ready, and we'll get them a bed ready so they'll be able to come within a couple more these amount of days. But make sure you test them twice. And they say, oh, okay. So basically it's how you communicate with the case manager. But sometimes the hospitals, they try to hurry up and push whoever they want. Or then they'll say, oh, we're not just going to give them admissions. We're not going to give them this. We're not going to give them that. So it became very, very difficult because, as a lot of individuals know, there was a lot of governors that was pushing individuals that had COVID that's in a hospital, in a nursing home. Why would you do that? And everybody blamed the nursing home. Everybody blamed the administrators. But the administrators said, no, we don't want that to happen. But the governor, who is over the government with CMS, said, yes, do it, do it, do it. The governors, the state governors. But no one was listening to us as administrators when we said that's cross-contamination. That's going to be a huge issue. No one wanted to hear us. But we got a lot of backlash on outbreaks. And people not understanding how the outbreaks are happening. And when you have this barrier, this plastic barrier that's up there, and people have to zip it up, zip it down, you have to understand, if you're a CNA and you have a PPE on, you have to change your PPE out every room that you go when you're in the COVID. So they are passing out trays for the residents to eat on COVID hall. So when they passing out trays for residents, these residents can be individuals that need help with sitting up or to eat, or going and get up in their bed, or they need to be changed, or they want to go to the restroom and all the other stuff. They got to switch out PPE. So you're not understanding what CNAs and nurses have to go through around just, you know, them eat dining services. And it can be very, very difficult. Very, very difficult. You're not understanding what CNAs actually have to go through. So the CNAs have to pass on trays. What if you give a resident some coffee and the coffee good, and he said, oh, I love this coffee, and you just pass out coffee and the coffee is already gone, and you say, wait a second, I'm going to go get you some coffee. Just wait a second. And he's like, okay, this coffee good. I want some more coffee. Now you got to take this PPE off, and you have to go in the dining room, because you cannot go in the dining room with PPE. That's cross-contamination. You do not want to go in there in the dining room with that. So basically, CNA sticking their head in. Can I get some more coffee? Can I get some more coffee? Then they got to get some more coffee. Then you talking about dietary aids is always in the kitchen. They can't hear them. They can't hear them at all. So they got to take this PPE off, walk through the dining room, ask them, can you please bring some coffee? Can you please give me this? Or make some more coffee themselves. It becomes very, very difficult because people out here don't understand how it is for individuals to be able to work with all this PPE on, which is very, very hot. Plus, you're talking about ladies who probably have menopausing or anything, who probably have Mother Nature at this time. Anything. This stuff could be very, very hot. We haven't even gotten to the CNA's showering residents. So they showering residents, you around with the hot water, the steam, you got all this PPE on, you got this mask on, you need to breathe. A lot of them wants to breathe. And I always tell them, if you need to breathe, step away, go into the bathroom, breathe before you do this. But it's easier said than done. Plus, if you're dealing with a resident that's right there and they need a lot of assistance when it comes to showering. There's no residents showering with a mask on. Come on now, you know that. So they trying to breathe while this resident is right here trying to get in the shower. Want to get in the shower. Someone is going to get someone COVID. And that's very, very difficult for us as administrators to know that our CNAs are working very hard and everything. And the CNA get COVID because she's doing what she's supposed to do, give a resident a nice bath, a nice shower. That's difficult. That's hard. So a lot of people not understanding about the cover halls and the difficulties with it. And also caring for residents who have dementia. A lot of people not understanding how residents with dementia can cause an outbreak. I'm gonna break it down to you. Let's break it down. I'm breaking it down to you. A lot of nursing homes out there got a lot of backlash because of the outbreaks. And a lot of people say, oh my God, they got an outbreak. Get our loved one out of there. Get our loved one out of there. Let's break this down. A resident who have dementia. And they have dementia. So you have to basically get in their world to understand what's going on with them. You cannot make someone stay in their room. There's no lock on their room. They have resident rights. They could come out anytime. But during this pandemic, we kept redirecting them for them to stay in their room for safety reasons. They come in areas that they wanted to, talk to each other, everything. A lot of that stuff right there got shut down because how bad the outbreaks got. So a lot of these individuals who have dementia, they don't understand. They just know when they get up in the morning, or get up period, they want to walk around like they always do. They want to smile. Hey, how are you doing? See, they favor CNAs and nurses, and they just want to have a good time. But you trying to redirect them back into their rooms can be very difficult. A nurse who passing out medication, 2 CNAs trying to help with a shower, that can be difficult because a resident who have dementia, they very mobile. A lot of them are very, very mobile, very quick. They can hurry up and get out of their room and go into a different room right next to them. And you could be right there in the hall, probably with a tray or anything. You say, oh, wait a second. Then already in their room. Because this is part of them having dementia, we have to redirect them. Some of them don't like masks. They'll take that mask off. You got to keep on redirecting them. Put the mask on. It's for your safety. Put your mask on for your safety. They're like, what is this? They'll take it off. And some residents who have dementia have behaviors. So you trying to redirect them. Oh, no, let's go this way. Come on, let's go this way. No, they're like, no, I want to go that way. I want to go that way. They don't want to hear what you're saying. They will fight everything. They don't want to hear none of that. They want to go whatever way they want to go. And now you have this PPE on. They want to go this way. They want to go in there and see their friends and everything. And you tell them no, they can't see their buddies and all this other stuff. They don't want to hear that. They have dementia. So you now have to sit down with them, talk with them, and have them to understand, okay, just sit right here, get in their world and talk to them and redirect them to something else. But in the meantime, you ain't sit right there like 30 or 40 minutes. And after you sit there 30, 40 minutes, talk to them, sometimes they'll pop right back up and still go wherever they want to go. Because that's part of them having dementia. So they can go to room to room to room. They can have COVID, or they can go to a room with someone who have COVID, and they can bring the COVID back out to go to another room, and they'll go to another room. Guess what? Now you have an outbreak. Even if they don't have COVID and they want to go to a hall that they used to been walking on, like I said, you could have COVID hall A right here, and their hall is B. They could come off the non-COVID hall B and want to walk on A because their friend was on A. And even if you have that barrier that's right there, a lot of them can see CNA zipping that barrier, a nurse is zipping that barrier. They would go there and rip that barrier down just to go back through that way. They would unzip that barrier and go through it. It doesn't matter. They have dementia. They still can see how to get through there. They want to get through there. They will find a way to get through it. So now you have outbreak. But is it wrong for nursing home administrators to accept admissions of individuals who have Alzheimer's dementia? No, it's not. It's already limited spaces and limited support for them. So when you have an administrator like myself who accept individuals like this with Huntington's disease and all these other things that other nursing homes will not do, everybody said, thank you so much. But then when the pandemic hit with the outbreak, oh my God, it's like other administrators that was out there, oh, it's their bad administrator. They're bad administrator. Oh my God, they so nasty there. No, you have to understand what administrators go through when they have residents that have dementia and Alzheimer's. It can be very, very, very difficult. You can redirect. You can have it on your policies that redirecting. You could try your best to continue to tell them, can you wear a mask for me? Put this mask on. If they don't want to do it, they're not going to do it. If they don't want to go down that hallway or go back in their room, they're not going to do it. There's nothing you can say or do. You can continue to redirect, continue to redirect. They still going to come out their room. They might curse you out. But, you know, you can't keep doing it. Plus, when you got millions and things to do that you have to get to. Your RDO comes, why this one done, what they were done. Oh, I was with a resident with dementia. They kept leaving out the room. They wouldn't stay in the room. Well, you know they're not going to leave. Of course they're not going to leave. That's the reason why it's important for nursing home administrators to have their memory care director background. And the thing is, some RDOs and RVPs don't have that background. So you have to continue to explain to them and have them to understand, because a lot of them don't have it. It's very crucial to have that. Like some people have that CDP, where you see that CDP behind their names, or there used to be a memory care director. They have that. I used to be a memory care director, so I understand and I know how to communicate with others when it comes to that. And you're going to be a very, very strict administrator and get backlash for safety reasons, or you're not. And you're going to get a lot of outbreaks. So there were times where I have to parties. Of course, I had parties, but I was very, very strict when it comes to certain things. So, of course, yeah, a lot of people probably feel some type of way, but my thing was number one, it was safety. Resident safety, staff safety. I want to make sure that the staff go home safe. They have kids, they have family members they need to go to, and sometimes when they go around their families and loved ones, that's probably when they get the COVID and they bring it back into the building. But as administrator, I try not to judge. I'm like, okay, this is what we're going through. Okay, let's take care of this. That's how agency came in and just snuck in. Because if you have this outbreak plus with staff and they leave, you need people to come in ASAP. Immediately. It's still been 2 years and no one still figure out how price gouging it is for our agency. But at the same time, me being interim, sometimes I have to look at it. Are the CNAs worth that? Are the nurses worth that? And they are. Well, all the stuff they do, yeah. Yeah. It's worth it. I have CNAs and nurses who bust their tail. They always bust their tail. They're worth it. I have CNAs and nurses that'll come anytime I ask them to come. Or CNAs that'll come and tell me, I'm not doing nothing tomorrow. Do you need my help? I'll come in tomorrow. I'll stay in. I'll work. I'm here. Call me now. How you going to be mad at a CNA like that? You can't be mad at a CNA like that. Then sometimes where these CNAs, they do mess up. Just mess up a little bit. But them the main ones that come in and work for you. So sometimes you have to give. So like I said, all of this became a huge issue, with COVID testing, the COVID halls with the barriers, caring for individuals who have Alzheimer's and dementia. A lot of people out there don't understand what nursing home administrators have to go through. And I hope that when you watching this, it allow you to understand what nursing home administrators and the nursing staff went through during a pandemic. How an outbreak can happen. Some outbreaks are not, some outbreaks you just can't, shy away from. Some of them going to happen. Plus, if you have like a lot of residents who have dementia. And if you have those staff, you continue to ask them, mask up. Come on, put your mask on now. I need you to wear your mask. Put it over your nose. There'll be times where I have to be strict. Like, look, you got to wear the shield. You got to wear this mask. The mask come down, you got to put the shield on. And they have to wear the shield. Because I want to make sure that I'm protecting the resident and the staff. And you can see how outbreak can happen when it comes to the dietary, the common areas in the nursing home. When you have dementia residents, when you have staff that's giving showers, how hot it could be, how you can have staff that's in the dining room and in the kitchen area, they cooking food with a mask on. It is hot in there. It can be very, very difficult. So you can see how cross-contamination can happen when you have these mutual stations and you have an A and B hall right here and C and D hall, how individuals can come off that hall. And when nurses come off that hall, when they have to do admissions, they have to do all this documentation that is necessary for them to do. If they don't do it, you get fined for it. So they have to sit there and do that documentation. So you can see how easy cross-contamination can happen. But we do our best to make sure that we minimize it as much as possible. with education and training. And that's the importance of a nursing home administrator. So I hope you guys learned a lot today. Thank you guys for watching. I appreciate you guys for watching. Thank you so much. Please comment, like, and share. Please go to all the platforms that's out there. Follow. Like I said, it's BLAHC, BLAHC, on YouTube. BLAHC period content on IG. BLAHC.org on Twitter. You want to follow me on LinkedIn? It's Tammy Scott. LNHA, which stands for Licensed Nursing Home Administrator. Of course, you will see my profile pic there. So please follow. Thank you guys for watching. I will be back for episode 3, and you will love it. But please enjoy this. Thank you so much. Bye.